Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I am Gary, your host. This is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and then examine the stories and the art. This time, the book I want to take a look at is not nearly as old. And it has some remarkable things about it. Okay. This book is Man-Thing #1 from 2017. Part of a 5-issue miniseries written by the best-selling young adult and juvenile horror writer R L Stine, with art by, in English it would be pronounced German Peralta, but it's probably supposed to be pronounced Hermann Peralta. But just for simplicity, I'm going to pronounce it German. I know it's not right. This is, well, like I said, part of a 5-issue miniseries. And it was an opportunity for R L Stine to write some comics. And of course, R L Stine, best known for his best-selling Goosebumps stories, plus Fear Street, and which was for a series for teen readers, and I guess he's even written some adult horror stories, which I don't know anything about. I know very little about the others because I've not read them more than a couple of 2 or 3 Goosebumps books. And this series also had backup horror stories in it, also written by R L Stine, and they called that part his R L Stine's Chamber of Chills, which is drawing from a title, an old Marvel horror title from the 70s. And of course, Man-Thing himself made his first appearance in 1971 in what was it, Savage Tales #1, black and white magazine format. And then this had various iterations in its own title and appearances in other books and magazines. So, I like this cover. This cover is not done by Peralta. I can't remember. I saw it says so in there. It says who it is. I've forgotten the name of it. But I like this cover. It looks promising, and with just the credits for these, looks promising. I know virtually nothing about Peralta himself, since I'm not a big reader of contemporary comics. I haven't. I was completely ignorant of him. I couldn't find a whole lot online. He was born in 1985, Argentine born, was from Argentina. He worked as an assistant to Eduardo Risso, and he did coloring on his covers. And what he was, then he did took part in an anthology called Terminus in 2012, and he teamed up with other artists thereafter, and he's done work for both Marvel and DC ever since. And he seems to be a fine artist. Quality-wise. And looks like some good visual storytelling in there. And this is the only issue that I ever got of it. I just recently acquired this, and I tell you, I was terribly disappointed. I would have thought R L Stine would have done better. I don't know what he was thinking when he did this, because I don't know. The backup story is so much better written than the main story, and from what little bit I could find about this description of the plot for the miniseries and that etc. I don't know what he was thinking. It definitely is not a horror story by any means, really, unless you just want to basically call it body horror, and even then it's not. It's more like, oh, I'm bummed. Everybody makes fun of me because I'm ugly, stuff like that. But apparently the plot was this stuff happened. He wound up having to go back to the swamp. Some weird stuff was going on. Somebody who was supposed to protect the swamp from chaos, because part of his power, swamp Man-Thing's power set was also opening portals and traveling between alternate realities and the like, which was used to good effect in the 70s. Steve Gerber did a lot of good writing for Man-Thing in the 70s. Other creators as well. So let's take a look inside here. Let's get another closer view. And it's obviously the Hollywood Hills behind him in this image. That's where the Hollywood sign would be. It reads, "Those who know fear," and then it has the city in flames, which promises a lot and does not even begin to fulfill here. We start right off, of course, it has a title page. And this cover artist is Tyler Crook. That's who that was. Did a fine job. Let me start right off. Ooh, looks like action. And the Man-Thing in the swamp and some kind of weird buggy alien type thing attacking him. And I was just surprised when I saw here, what? Thought balloons for Man-Thing? That's not right. And then the critter that he's fighting starts quipping. What? And then they go to it, and Man-Thing quickly stomps the buggy guy. Then it's cut. What the heck? It's on a movie set. It's a movie set, and that's the thing he just destroyed was a movie prop. And what the heck? It's a different direction is what it says for the title. Then Man-Thing goes to the producer's office. What? And he speaks like a normal person. Now, maybe this stuff happened in some previous appearance when Ted Salas got his intelligence and his voice back. So apparently he's gone to Hollywood to try to capitalize on his weirdness and be a horror movie star. Well, they said, "Oh, you're too grotesque. It's all these quips and stuff." So he's basically fired from a movie about himself. He walks out into Hollywood and all on the streets, and people are saying all kinds of stuff. Just full of little quasi-humorous quips, and then something happened. Then we have turned back the clock, and he remembers the origin of the Man-Thing, where he's Ted Salas, working for the government, trying to recreate super soldier serum at a lab, and he's got a girlfriend here who is secretly working for AIM. The guys bust in, try to take his formula, and he grabs it, takes off. They're chasing him through the swamp as he's driving down the road through the swamp. And he says his only chance to keep it out of their hands is the serum, and he injects it into himself, and he starts feeling pain and burning, and his car goes off the road into the swamp, and down he goes. And it describes, this is kind of horrifying here. The body horror is what he feels and thinks as his body is transformed into the swamp thing, and as his mind is gone. And here we go. See, this is a really nice page here. Smashing out of the car, and Swamp Thing, Man-Thing, has no real knowledge. Kind of works on instinct here, and attacks the people who had chased Ted Salas into the swamp, and throws them in, presumably killing them. Then they're back where he tries to go into a bar to get a drink, and they say, "Oh, we got a dress code." And people are just these little quips. A crowd forms. Get some clothes on. You can't go naked on the street. You're traumatizing my dog. Do you need directions back to the zoo and stuff like that? And that's just like, oh, what the heck? And then suddenly he sees, what the heck is this? Another Man-Thing. The older, more brutish form. And he just goes, ah. And so, here it is. 2 pages of Man-Thing fighting Man-Thing. And his thoughts. And said, well, it would be too evenly matched physically, so just hope that my intelligence will means the difference between the two. So, we're fighting, and then it says, to be continued. It's understandable, but what the heck? I mean, this is just bad writing, and from R L Stine, come on. Then has the backup, put a ring on it, and this one is a legitimate kind of form of a horror story. I'm not going to go into that story, but that is much better written than the main story. It's very, very disappointing. The fine artwork, good characterization, visualization, visual storytelling, panel-to-panel continuity, all that is very well done. Now, I've heard it say that the story is the thing, which is true enough. And a good story can be ruined by bad art. But something I say, but I don't ever hear others say, is that a bad story can be saved by good art. It doesn't work here. The good art is ruined by a bad story. Sorry, Stine. This is a very bad story. At least off to a bad start. The whole plot synopsis that I read about sounds pretty iffy anyway. I guess it didn't do well. All I could find was extreme criticism for the story, and I do not like it, Stine. So the backup story, and Stine credits a big influence from the 1950s EC horror comics, and the backup story is very similar to something that would have seen in the EC horror comics, and that works a lot better than this main story. So that's what I've got for you this time. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, share it with your friends. Maybe you know somebody who is a Man-Thing fan who has never seen or heard of this miniseries. They might be interested in seeing this. Leave comments on what you think of of this series if you have read it, or my interpretation of this. Or if you're an R L Stine fan, maybe you know somebody who is an R L Stine fan but doesn't know anything about comics that he has written in the past. Share this with them. This would be a good introduction into some of the comics for Goosebumps fans who maybe thought they've outgrown Stine or something. Or even if they're just kids and still reading Goosebumps. Whatever. Please leave a comment. And remember, people, comics are art.